God bless everybody. It's Saturday morning, February 2nd. We just finished our morning service. I just walked Marty. He's in the car with me. He's soaking wet. We had a beautiful walk, and then halfway through it downpoured, and we both didn't have our raincoats on. We have great faith in our morning walks. We think God's going to hold back the rain just for us because we're his favorites. And it never goes that way. Well, it has a few times, which is why I have confidence. And then a few times it has, where I'll be like, I command this rain to stop, and it does, so I have confidence in that. Well, the last two times it hasn't worked, and we get totally drenched. Look at my mom. Look, I'll turn the light on. Look how wet he is. It's still dark out. It's very early in the morning. Anyway, I want to talk about last night's service when God was crying, and I was feeling his sorrow in his heart and giving his message. And I really did finish it. He's sad about his lukewarm church, that they aren't taking him seriously and making his grace sloppy. And he's so sad. He has so much sorrow because they're about to pay the price for it. That's why he's sad. Because it's going to be a great price they are going to pay. And he's very sad about that. And he will be judging them in his sorrow. And they're going to have such regret. He told me there's going to be such a deep cry, such regret. And God doesn't like that cry. He doesn't like hearing that. I mean, people who think that God gets off on stuff like that, it's wrong. You just don't know the true God. His heart is broken. In fact, he is so broken over it that he took his own body and allowed his own body to be broken so that so he doesn't have to hear that cry, so that nobody has to go through that. But people choose to do it. They make choices. And so that's why he's sad. And God told me to make this video this morning to tell the bride and people that want his heart and love him. And I felt like people were inspired by him letting me feel that part of his heart. And he said that it's for everybody. It's not like I have some special gift. Okay, so I do have a job and an assignment, but we all do. And we are all leaders, but we all have the job of knowing his heart and experiencing his heart and sharing his heart. So I just wanted to say, if you want that, I really felt like God said to make this video, because it was very special. Yes, I was a crying mess last night, but it was the most powerful, most beautiful experience I've ever had. It was deeply sorrowful, but it made me feel alive because it was him. You know, it's one of those cries that you like. It's not a cry of regret because I screwed up, right? It was the cry of my king. And I've had the other kind of cry where I'm crying because once again I screwed up and I disappointed God. I've had those cries, and those are no fun, okay? But they're necessary because we live in a fallen world and we make mistakes, right? But this cry last night was the cry of our king. And God just told me to make this video to tell people, if you want his heart, you don't have to be saved 25 years like me and all this. No, you could have just gotten saved. Just come to him and ask him to share his heart with you. And God is going to start freeing people up in their emotions, he told me. I'm going to share my experience with my emotions. So I was very shut down emotionally because of how I grew up abused. You're not allowed to feel anything. You have to, smile when you feel like crying, and you can't be angry because you'll get whipped, and you can't be sad because nobody listens. And it's just, so I just learned to put on all those feelings I had to stuff, and I just had to put on a smiley face. And so because of that, years of that, at 16, I wanted to kill myself because I knew something was wrong. I just couldn't figure it out. I was just full of anger and pent-up emotion, and I wanted to explode, and I wouldn't want to hurt anyone in that. So I just decided that I'd want to take it out on myself and kill myself, because what am I supposed to do with all this? I'm looking back, understanding it all perfectly. That's not what I didn't know all that at 16, okay? I'm just looking, I get it now, right? Hindsight is 2020. And so when I got saved, it was pretty miraculous in my bedroom, and God literally just poured out his love on me. But the healing process, So God poured out his love and made me new. And that was beautiful. But it took years for him to get me to be honest about an emotion. And people really had me wrong. They thought I was some strong rock kind of person, but they didn't, because I had to put on a tough front. And even at my job in my 20s when I was a teacher, people had this idea of me that I was so like, I was very, people thought I was intimidating. And I'm like, what? Like my coworker told me, yeah, people, you kind of come off as like intimidating and like not really approachable or so. I was like, what? That is so not me. People that really know me, I'm really like nice and stuff, but it's just this tough front I've had. Right. And so, and then my second husband told me that too. He was like, I know you, but you come across as different. Like, and I'm like, wow, like a little bit scary, a little bit like, don't mess with me kind of person. Right. And I think I had to be tough like that because I couldn't let anyone push me around and mess with me, right? Because I was messed with in every way, physically, not sexually, thank God, but it did try to happen from a perverted uncle on the Indian reservation, but I hit him off real quick. I pushed him away. And it was horrible. My mom took us there when I was 15 to go see our relatives on the reservation. I'm Native American, huge part of Apache, half. And he tried doing some yucky stuff, and I was like, what? I just like pushed him away. I'm like, get away from me. So thank God I wasn't younger and nothing like that happened, but I was hit and emotionally abused and physically abused, really severe. And so this process of being honest with my emotions has been a process that God has had to take me through. And it would have been much quicker had I not been so afraid and repressed and rebelled and angry, because I had so much pent up anger. I would take it out on God. And then and before I took it out on God, I would be feeling guilty that he must be mad at me that I'm so angry. So in my guilt, I would ignore him. So I went through all these cycles, okay, in my 20s. And I'm looking back telling you, I didn't understand it at the time. It was a tough nut to crack. Thank God he's the great psychiatrist. I always call him that. You are the great psychiatrist. You know how to open us up and heal us. And that's what he's done. And I would say that I finally became emotionally healthy around 33. I went through a whole bunch of counseling. It really helped to get married. It really helped to go through a second marriage. We were working with counselors. I really was starting to get honest with an emotion. I was allowed to feel sad. I was allowed to feel mad. And God's not mad at me for it. And I really got huge freedom, I'd say around 33. And it was perfect timing because when my son was born, I wanted to have who doesn't want to be a healthy parent, right? And then God started letting me be free with my emotions. And when I was honest about them, then he wanted me to express them to him, and then know that he's not mad at me for being mad, even at him. He's not mad at me for being sad, even at him. I'm not in trouble if I have an emotion other than joy, right? I always thought I had to just be this happy person. Oh, it was just torture, I'm telling you. And look, my little scruffy.
You're still wet, you little sweetheart.
Look at him. And so what God wants to tell, he wants to tell the bride today and me that we get to go deeper. We get to go deeper as his bride, as he's our leader and our shepherd and our king. We get to go deeper together as a family and into his heart. And it's for everybody. It's not just a gift for a few people. They get to, cry and yell and scream, and it's fun. Okay. But it's for everybody. And God just wanted me to tell you that, he has to heal your emotions in order to get you there. And there's a lot of emotional healing still. I went through it for years and I continue to get delivered. I do. I'm getting more deliverance since we gathered in the area of emotions and honesty and freedom. Okay. Me too. #me too. Just kidding. But not really. So anyway, guys, I love you. I just want to tell you that God's heart is for everybody. Ask for it. Let him heal your emotions. Just say, God, I want to feel like you feel. I don't want to be suppressed. I want to be emotionally healthy. And, I'm just telling you, I'm teaching my son about that. Now, he hasn't been abused or anything. So I've been able to, it's been such healing as a parent to watch him grow up, because it's how you're supposed to grow up, and he can cry. But that's a normal emotion that's healthy. And sometimes he tells me I feel like a crybaby, but I'm like, no, that's called being emotionally healthy. And he cries when he feels really deeply about a subject, like a movie, or when he talks about God. He instantly cries. He floods with tears, and he felt a little self-conscious about it. But I've taught him, no, that's God. Don't ever clog that stream. That's healthy. And he's not like a big crybaby all day long or anything like that. It just every now and then it comes on him. And I think, as men especially, you might want to suppress it and act tough, but that's God's heart. Jesus wept. God has all these emotions. So it's a big lie on this earth in psychology that men are supposed to be this. That's probably why our men have been so messed up, because they haven't been able to be honest and be free. Because God says he created all the emotions and they're all for us, and he wants us emotionally healthy. And that's why people drink and do all these things to suppress their true self. So I just speak emotional health over all of us, and we go deeper in God's grace. So anyway, I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye. And ask for it. Just God told me to tell you to ask for it, and he will bring healing to where you can feel again. Okay, bye.